Hi friends, today we're doing another pick a card, very straightforward, just with any messages that you need to hear right now. So it could be about anything. It might differ from pile to pile, and you've got 3 piles to choose from. This is pile number 1 with this beautiful like night sky starry crystal. Pile number 2, I always think this looks like a water drop, so pretty. And pile number 3 is the amethyst there. So take your time in choosing, and you can go to the timestamp to watch your pile. Hi pile 1, let's get into your reading and see what the cards have to say. So what does pile number 1 need to know right now, here right now? Anything that's going on for them that wants to be addressed? That's funny because this came up, I was shuffling before and it kind of jumped out before we were ready, but it's coming up again, so that's good. What I'm getting actually is kind of like, I feel like you've maybe been in a period of isolation or feeling kind of left out, or just like on the outside of things for some time. But like sort of recently, and I'm also getting like through the holidays, I feel like you've come more into yourself and like your power. I feel like maybe for you guys this holiday, you've been able to kind of maybe handle like family dynamics better, or standing up for yourself more than you have previously. Because like, especially like if you're watching this around Christmas when I'm filming, yeah, Christmas can be kind of a challenging time for a lot of people, and maybe we get into family patterns and stuff, or we kind of lose ourselves a little bit. But I'm sort of getting like just this reflection of that you're doing like a really great job with that, and like standing up for yourself, and like maybe being a part of your family system, but still like having really firm like boundaries and knowing who you are, and not letting yourself like get completely caught up in the, yeah, maybe sometimes old patterns, or like drama, family drama, stuff like that. What is this Page of Cups about? It's really sparkly. It's cute. I feel like you're kind of feeling ready again to sort of step out a little bit into the world and kind of join in again, maybe after a period of not doing that, and kind of keeping to yourself. So let's see if there are any messages around that. I have the Ten of Pentacles again. Yeah, no, definitely. Like, it's coming through very clearly that, like, you've gone through a transformation, and you're at the very end of it. Like, it's over, where you kind of worked on a lot of things yourself, and now you're ready to step back into, like, community and togetherness, really. You seem really ready for that. Yeah, I mean, I think that, like, when we feel like we have to kind of distance ourselves, obviously it's because we feel like we can't really trust people, or we've been hurt in some ways. I do feel like there maybe was an incident or several, or like a period of time where you felt like you really weren't like being considered by people, and maybe you felt like looked down upon, or just like ignored or not seen, and you're kind of at a point where, like, okay, it's not really worth it to try and be a part of a group or something like that. And so you kind of went inside and did a lot of inner work, or just like isolated. And I feel like it was, I mean, it's never fun, but it did kind of serve as an incentive for you to start kind of paying attention to yourself, and like valuing yourself, and like you listening to what you need and who you are and what you want and stuff. Because like, if other people were doing it anyways, then you sort of have to do it first. And I do feel like, because you have done that now, I mean, I do feel like you're in this kind of Emperor energy, that I feel like it'll be much easier to spend time with other people, and they will most likely reflect that back to you, where, I mean, you're already caring for yourself in that way, so it's going to be much easier to be around other people and have them actually like listen to you and respect you. I feel like this is a lot about like respect as well. So it's basically coming through as like a well done. I mean, this is nothing for you to do. Like, I feel like you've already done this. But it's something to look forward to. It's like a reflection. I'm sure you're feeling this already, but this is sort of a reflection of what you have been doing and what is kind of happening energetically for you. What else? Is there any advice, like, moving forward, moving into this more like togetherness space? Is there anything that pile 1 needs to know about that? Well, 2 things with this card. I'm getting, well, first of all, like, it is a choice to step in to togetherness. I know a lot of the times, like, we want people to come to us, and that's completely fair. And that should also, you know, happen and stuff like that. But when we sort of isolate and withdraw, it is a choice to like step back in. So it's whether you are like aware of you stepping back in or not. I'm sorry, it's kind of windy if you hear noises. Yeah. it is still like a choice that you're making, and if you're doing it consciously, your chances are better of like yeah, having a good experience with it. If you're not like waiting for people to kind of come to you or accept you or invite you, like if you step in like energetically and you're like, I'm here, and like with this emperor energy, like this is me, like I'm ready, I want to be a part of you know, life again, or community, whatever. That's gonna like, you're gonna be like a shining light that people will see. So that's the most important thing. And number two is that I do feel like, I mean, when we want to step back into togetherness, there are many different paths we can take, many different groups and circumstances and situations, and just remember like what you kind of worked for, and choose the people and the settings that feel the best to you, and people that actually like do see you and value you. Yeah, so that's the first thing. Yeah, like let it be kind of natural, like let it be easy. Your needs matter just as much as anyone else's. And it shouldn't be like a huge struggle just to like get certain needs met. I mean, I feel like you're kind of past that point, and if you just take up space like in yourself, and you show people that you want to connect, go where it feels natural. Like this woman is like floating, I'm being drawn to that. Like let yourself be like taken to the places and the people that really suit you, and where you actually get something, where you feel like it's reciprocated and you're valued for who you are, and it's easy, like where you can be yourself and it's easy. And I know that's something maybe you've been wanting and you didn't feel like you could get there before, but I do feel like whatever you have done through this like transformation and going like withdrawing and kind of reflecting on things, I feel like your energy has shifted, where you're much more in this energy of like ease and having the possibility of things being more easy, and where you can just kind of flow. So that's like for you to focus on if you're still like unsure, or you don't really know like where you want to be. Like let yourself be drawn to people and places, and pay attention to if it feels easy, like if it feels easy to be yourself. You shouldn't have to like struggle just to, you know, be able to be yourself. Yeah, honor your feelings. I mean, honor how you feel, and seek out people who also honor how you feel. And if they don't, like, there's plenty of options. This is like what I'm getting with this one also. Like there's plenty of options, where I feel like before maybe you were stuck in this mindset also of like what we get from maybe our upbringing or our family, when there is only family, like we can't just like choose to go somewhere else. But now there are so many options, and if like a space isn't right for you, there are so many more. Like honor your feelings, trust your feelings, and know that there are plenty of people and places, spaces out there where it can feel easy, where you can just be you and you actually fit in like as your own little puzzle piece without having to modify a lot of things. And this is just basically confirmation, because I feel like this is exactly like what you've been realizing and working on. But this is really exciting. I'm really happy for you. And I think that we all deserve to be accepted and included for who we are. We just need to find the right places, because everyone's different, and so it's not personal. We can't expect every person or every place to, you know, value us in the same way, because we all are so different and we value different things. But you are made perfectly by design, and there are people and places that will love you for you. So that is the message for you today. I hope you liked it. I hope it was helpful or just validating in some way. And I hope to see you another time. Bye. Hi, pile 2. Welcome to your reading. Let's take a look at what messages you might need to hear today, or what's going on for you, anything that wants to be spoken about. So what is going on for pile number 2, please? Oh. When I was tuning into this pile, I felt some themes around love. Yeah, so, okay. I'm starting to get a picture. Okay. So you might have been through something quite disappointing, or like devastating, or kind of something like, I'm getting with love or relationships, maybe a separation, or some sort of conflict, or falling out, or honestly, for some of you it is that, but for some of you I'm also getting that it's more also the lack of something, but it's kind of pushing you to a place where it still feels like kind of a crisis, or like a devastation. Maybe I think you felt like you've worked really hard on something, but it hasn't really gone the way you wanted it to go. So this could be like with a specific relationship, or maybe you want a relationship. This could also be friendships. When I say relationships, it's just people. But for some of you, it is that you like want a romantic partner, or maybe you want to make a connection work with someone, and it hasn't really gone the way you wanted it to. So there's a lot of like disappointment, and yeah, kind of just like the feeling of giving up is sort of what I'm feeling. Let's take a look at like what happened, or like what specifically I mean, you'll know what happened, but can we get any insight as to why this isn't working for you? Okay, I think that, okay, the reason I think this isn't going so well for you is that there might be some stuff in your past related to family and home where there was a lot of like conflict around you, and this effort of like trying to make a certain relationship work, or connections in general, or finding connections, or a person that feels like a good fit for you. I think it may not be working because it's coming from this energy of trying to like fix the past in a way. Like if you grew up with a very like a home with conflict, or where people maybe didn't get along and things like that, a part of us still believes that we're not good enough for like a relationship. Like if we're not accepted and loved for who we are as a kid, which I mean, we're loved in some ways, but if we don't feel like we are, that creates like a pattern of feeling like we have to prove ourselves. So whether, okay, I'm getting a clear picture, like whether it's with a specific person, or whether you're trying to find a specific type of relationship or create one, the pattern for you guys is the same, where you still feel like you have to prove that you are good enough to be in a relationship with. So if you're already like with an existing person, or in a family or a group or whatever, you're trying super hard, but that is kind of the problem. Like if you are the only one who is trying super hard, or if you have to try super hard to be you know, included, or to be a part of the relationship, or that you have to prove that you're good enough for a person or for a relationship, that's not, you know, good. You shouldn't have to prove that you're good enough to be in a relationship with. So if you're trying to find someone, and it's a little bit coming from this energy of like, I don't actually maybe believe deep down that I am good enough just to be loved and adored and included for who I am, then like you'll be working really hard as a sort of way to like overcompensate. This is probably not conscious, but there's like, you feel like you have to work hard because then you've earned it. But here, like the advice is coming through is like, work less hard, because like when you're working hard, you're reinforcing this pattern that you are not good enough if you don't. Like you're not good enough if you don't try to, you know, fit yourself into what the other person wants, or you're trying to understand them all the time or communicate. Like if you're the only one doing that, or you have to do it excessively, that's a sign that it's not the right place for you, and it's not the right person. Like a relationship is a mutual thing. and if you are in a relationship where that is sort of the case, where you have to fight for you feel like you have to prove yourself in the relationship, where you have to fight to be heard, you deserve better than that. So there are two kind of camps here, whether you're looking or whether you're kind of in something that where you still feel like you have to prove yourself. So like, what can you do to, what can Pal do to change this pattern and to find like what they actually are wanting with love and relationships? We have the Sun. What can Pile 2 do, please, to change this pattern? I mean, it's really like stepping into this like no nonsense energy. You have to realize that you will be treated the way that you kind of accept to be treated. So the first thing to do is to really take a look at the way you're being treated and feel like this, is this fair? Like if a friend came to you and, you know, it was your friend being treated this way, what would you tell them? Like, would it be fair? It's something about like being actually very logical about the whole situation. If you're having a hard time with kind of getting lost in other people, or like not feeling you know, like you deserve to be treated better and stuff like that, if you're feeling unsure, like go into this like very objective perspective and look at it like it was a friend or a stranger or whoever, and just objectively look at the situation like, okay, this is how I'm being treated, is that fair? Or even if you're trying to find a relationship, is that fair? Like, would you tell your friend to like, if they were looking for love, would you tell them to like, okay, you have to work harder, you have to like shape up? Or would you tell them that like, you are lovable as you are, you're amazing, and you don't have to try so hard? Like, because when you stop trying so hard, that's when people will actually see you for kind of who you are. Because the problem is also when we kind of overextend ourselves or like pretend to be something else or work super hard, is that people can't really see us, because that's not really us, you know. We're doing something else, we're like extending too much effort. So the people who actually will love you and like be really drawn to you, they can't really see you when you do that. I think for you, if you want to put in like work somewhere, it's really in the self-worth department and really seeing yourself as the Sun, like seeing yourself as valuable and like a huge asset to people. I think that you have to realize that just as you like want to be in a relationship with someone or a group of people or whatever, because you find them valuable or you find like relating valuable, whatever, like there are people who feel that way about you. Like people who actually want to be in relationship with you. Like imagine if you had someone like fight for you, because they think you're worth it, you know? I think there needs to be a little bit of more balance in that department, where you're not the only one who should be fighting to keep a relationship or to create a relationship. Like it's a two-way street. Like the other person also has to put in effort. And if like you're putting in so much effort, like it also gives subconsciously, whatever, energetically, it gives other people like permission to kind of slack. So if you take a step back a little bit and you relax a bit more, it invites the other people to also step up, which I think is also what you want, because nobody wants to just be fighting to be in relationships all the time. Like that's horrible. That's not safe, and it's not like a real good feeling relationship. So if you take a step back and you just kind of sit in your own value, you know your worth, and you also let people work for you. Like you can just try it as an experiment. Like if it feels new to you, try it as an experiment, and you'll definitely see that people will like respond differently to you, because like this has nothing, like the fact that you're struggling with this has nothing to do with you and like who you are. It's just a learned pattern that people respond to it like energetically. It's just like a sticky kind of energetic pattern, but it has nothing to do with you or like your value. And you have no reason to be fighting for people to love you or accept you or anything like that. None. Like you are incredibly valuable, and there are so many people who would just love to have access to you and be in a relationship with you or be around you. But you have to kind of stay in your energy long enough for people to kind of see you and feel you. So that's kind of the advice. Like, and you can, I mean, a good thing that I do sometimes is like I write down things I value about myself, or whatever I feel like I bring to other people, just anything like that where you can kind of actually like revel in your self-worth. If you have any strategies for that, that's what I would do, and sort of step back a little and take a back seat and be like, okay, I have to also be able to relax in a relationship. So if I have to constantly be like the one who's initiating, or the one who is like trying to solve things, or the one who's wanting to create closeness, whatever, that's not sustainable. Like you're gonna burn out. It's not sustainable, and you deserve to be also like fought for, basically, like for people to put in effort. Is there any last message or piece of advice for pile 2 when it comes to this? Well, I want to say you need some rest. Like take a step back, try to really care for yourself, and like give up the fight, basically. Like stop fighting. When you stop fighting, there might come up some feelings from the past. I think that's important to be aware of, because you're fighting for a reason. So there might be actually like a lot of sadness or grief or anger that comes up as a result of kind of taking a step back and feeling those feelings of what it felt like. Because there's grief under that, like to have to fight to be valued, or have to fight to be related to. That's very painful. So go really gentle on yourself, like be with yourself, be with your emotions, and know that those feelings might come up, but it's temporary. And I feel like when you kind of sink into yourself and you feel these feelings and you come out on the other side, you will start to see completely like new possibilities for what relating could feel like. It doesn't have to feel this way. It shouldn't have to feel this way. And I think that I just feel like it would be so nice, you know, for you to feel like you can relax, and people will also put in an effort to be with you, to be around you, and also where it's like more natural, where you can both, or all of you, just be yourselves and not have to prove anything, not have to be something else, not have to like solve things all the time. It's you're gonna come out the other side, and I think it's gonna feel much more like this, calm and like light and warm, and like imagine you could just drop it all, and you can, and it's just a matter of kind of seeing that this strategy isn't really getting you what you want, because you do want to be kind of loved and accepted for who you are, of course, and like nobody should have to like try this hard. So as long as you're trying this hard, you're not going to get actually what you want, because even if people sort of like relate to you in this capacity when you're doing all this work, I mean, you're still going to feel resentful because you're still trying so hard. So if you can soften a bit and try less, there are like endless possibilities for the types of connections and interactions that you could have from that space, from a new space. So yeah, that is the message for you today. I hope it was helpful, or validating, and I wish you all the best, and please take care of yourself and take it really slow and gentle, and you know, have compassion for yourself along the way, because I mean, we all struggle with these kinds of things. So that's your message for today. I hope to see you another time. Bye. Hi, pile 3. Welcome to your reading. Let's have a look at any messages. Whoops. That want to come through for you. Anything you're going through. Ooh. Okay. I mean, this came out like this, so I'll kind of take that also keep that in mind. You might feel like you're in a pause of some sort at the moment. And like there's been like some stagnation in your progress, like your goals. Let's see. I mean, these is interesting because these are a lot of similar cards as came up in pile 1, I think. But anyways, I feel like you might be feeling a little frustrated or just like you're in a pause right now. You know kind of what you want, or you have an idea of your goals and things like that, but it feels like you can't really find the footing right now to make it happen. Like you have an idea of who you want to be and what you're doing, but the environment is not really like reflecting that, and it's hard to kind of get to where you want to go. So why is that? Why is it hard for pile 3? Yeah, it's not quite time yet. Honestly, I'm not getting that you're like doing anything wrong or there's some issue in your energy. I'm just getting that you're getting ahead of yourself a little bit, and it's kind of like you're skipping a few steps. So like the energy needs to kind of settle a bit more. Like the energy wants to ground a bit more before you can see the physical manifestation of what it is that you're wanting to create. Sometimes like resting and taking a break, we think that we're like, oh, stepping away and like not doing anything or whatever, but it's actually when you know, the energy is really like grounding and settling. You know, when you're like baking, I don't know why I'm seeing this and it doesn't exactly make sense, but when you're baking, like I see this like the bread kind of what's it called, you leave it to yeah, to cook, bake, I don't know. Like, okay, let's say this is a worse example and I don't like it as much, but when you leave like dishes to soak, like that's when kind of, you know, you do actually the most important work. If you don't leave the dishes to soak, you're gonna have to work much harder to get like the food out and stuff. But if you leave them to soak for a bit, it kind of takes care of most of it, and then you just have to do like the last bit at the end, and then you work like efficiently and you don't have to like work so hard. So I'm getting that this is like kind of a case of that like you have a goal, you have somewhere where you want to go, where you want to be, and it's not exactly really happening, and you feel frustrated because like the practical physical reality is not really like reflecting that, or you can't really seem to ground it, and it's because it needs to soak. Like you can try to get it out now, like my very nice metaphor here, like the food off the plate or whatever, clean the pots or whatever, but you're gonna have to put in a lot more work and it's not gonna be as efficient. So there needs to be like, there's some element of timing here where the energy needs to actually like circulate a bit and to like land. Is there anything you can do to kind of help that process along? What can pile 3 do, please, to help that process? Yeah, don't focus on like that it's not working, because you're pulling in 2 different directions. So like if you're letting the energy kind of soak, right, and ground, do that and know that that's what's going on, and still be excited about the future and like put in the work here and there, but like let it kind of simmer, and don't fall into the trap of thinking that like you're going backwards or you're not getting anywhere or it's not working, because it kind of splits your energy, and so the soaking isn't happening like as efficiently because it's being interrupted by like your worry and like your negative thoughts about the situation, and you're not actually letting it soak. So I think that this message is coming through so that you don't do this, and so that you know what's going on, so that you don't have to feel like this sort of impatience or confusion of like why it's not working, am I doing something wrong, blah blah blah, because it's draining like a lot of your energy, and it's actually like interrupting the process of the energy sort of grounding. I mean, this isn't very practical, I realize that it's frustrating, but also a different example is like you're pregnant with a child. You can't rush that process. Like you might want the child to come out, but it's going to come out when it's going to come out. Like, but it doesn't mean that nothing is happening during those 9 months. Like everything is happening, but you're not necessarily in charge of exactly when. So you can keep putting in the work, but know that like the energy is building momentum in a more subtle way at this time, but it doesn't mean that nothing is happening. So there's no need to like freak out or feel like you're never getting there. Yeah, like be optimistic. Like have the mentality that like, yeah, it's gonna happen. I'm excited about it, and I'll put in the work where I need to. Like I'm not saying be delusional, like we have to put in work and we have to like practically make things happen, ground, everything like that, but try to stay optimistic even in the periods where not much is happening, because it's not always what it seems on the surface that nothing is happening. A lot of the time, that's actually when most of the things are happening. And don't be afraid to let go a little bit. Sometimes also, okay, so this is for some of you, maybe not all. Sometimes when we're too attached to the outcome, it also slows things down because we're attached to things happening a certain way or in a certain time or whatever, and it limits kind of the energy flow because we're so decided on one thing, or we're focusing on one thing, kind of like focusing on, oh, it's not happening, it's not happening, it's not happening, and then it becomes like almost a self-fulfilling prophecy because we're focusing too much there, and things might be going much better than we think they are, which I'm getting in your case is kind of what's happening. So don't get too attached to the outcome. Like keep putting in the work when you want to, take a break, rest when you need to, and try to let go of your attachment of like when it's going to happen. Specifically, I'm getting when, like how is also obviously keep that open, but I'm getting more for you that the attachment is to it should happen in a certain time frame, and if it's not, something's wrong. Basically nothing's wrong. Think of the soaking, think of the pregnancy, and you will see that from that perspective, nothing is wrong, and there is a timing element to this thing. And if you keep optimistic and you allow these periods of more subtle growth, or even like integration, resting, recharging, even being like very physical, when we have a lot of like energy and ideas that we want to create, just doing physical things is a really good way to like ground the energy and to make sure that this energy that is like running in us is getting some sort of outlet. And I think that's a great like manifestation technique as well, that you are doing physical things, because it creates like, you take that energy and you actually move it into the physical, even if you're just moving your body or cooking or whatever, being in nature, anything like that. So keep that in mind. Know that nothing is wrong. It just needs to simmer a bit longer, and just keep putting in the work, be optimistic, and remember that these periods of less activity are normal, natural, and you're not doing anything wrong, basically, and you're still on the way to where you want to go. So yeah, that is short and sweet. Your message, pile number 3. I hope it was helpful, and I hope to see you again. Bye.